I'm here with Merry Hettmansperger for Shipwreck Beads, and Mary's also the author of Fabulous Woven Jewelry, and you have a new book coming out soon, which is very exciting.
I do. It's on cold connections in metal and jewelry.
Oh, that'll be fun. Well, Mary's here to help us with a terrific linear project, because that's what we're talking about this episode. And this is the necklace that we're going to be making. Exciting.
Yes, this is basically a combination of both metals and charms and beads and in sort of a linear look.
Exactly. Now, what are some of the materials we're using with it?
We're going to use 24 gauge copper sheeting, and the first step basically is to take the sheeting, and I cut the sheeting to create really an organic shape. I start out with quite a large piece that's going to be for the top. And what you want to make sure you do is make sure that it's very round and your edges are going to be really nice. And once you get your shape started, then you're going to bring it over here to the anvil, and you want to hammer the edges so it's going to be nice and smooth. And also, I will use the ball peen part to get a lot more texture. So when you get it all done, basically you have these kind of shapes.
Oh, that looks great.
Yeah, and they're very nice, and they have a tendency to have a little bit more texture to them than the plain, and they're not so sharp, which is very nice.
Because you don't want to have something on that it has a sharp edge at all.
Well, and after I got my pieces done, then I wanted to look in the catalog and find something that's going to be more linear, smaller beads, so that everything will have a fluidity of linear to it.
And something that coordinates well with the copper material,
right.
too.
And I can also take just wire and make a charm, as you can see here. And I basically do that by just starting out. And I use this German-style wire and to make like a swirly. I'm just going to take the wire and bring it in and make a swirly and then make a wrap loop at the top, just as you can see with this one.
Oh, look how great that came out.
And I also hammer that to make it work hard so that it won't lose that shape that I've created.
And then it tends to match the texture, too, of the other pieces.
And it sort of ties in both the copper wire and also just the copper, you know, with the copper sheeting. Once I get those all sort of figured out what I'm wanting to use, then I want to take and decide where I'm going to punch my holes for my wrap loops to connect to my necklace. And I usually do 3 on the bottom, but you can use any shape you want. You can use any time, you know, amount you want, but this is basically what I'm going to end up with.
Right.
And once I set everything up, then I start working on connecting the charms by just taking the wire, again, making a wrap loop.
Yeah, we want to see how you do that.
And I basically start out, make a little connection, and I hold on to it and then make the wrap loop. And of course, I like to add beads even to the wrap loop. And once you get the wrap loop done, you want to cut, make it nice and smooth, and crimp it down. And then, as you can see, I've got a lot of options here. And I'll just thread on beads and start to make, then once I've connected,
one of your dangles.
Yeah, and then I make the wrap loop at the top. Again, if I want a lot of movement, I want to make sure that I make more wrap loops. The other thing then is I'll start out and I'll take these pieces of copper and poke a hole in one side and then the other, just to put some of the copper in between and inside of the piece, as you can see over here on this piece. On this piece over here.
Right.
So you can see how I've got
almost
copper.
different layers.
Different layers, and a lot of length to make the linear. And just to finish off is very simple. I just come in with my chain, and I'm kind of one that I like to make the necklace complete, and I don't even have a clasp at the back. I'll just connect my jump rings, as you can see here, right with the copper.
Okay.
And I'll just connect the jump rings right at the top, right onto my length of chain, which makes it real nice.
Yeah, can you show us how to do that?
Sure. I can come in and grab my, and then I just take,
and just add it right onto
the and add it right on to the hole here.
Oh, good. That was easy enough.
Yeah. And then just close it with your
tools.
Yeah. And just make sure when you're using your jump ring, you
Right.
slide it back and forth.
And then you just add on all of the additional pieces that we saw right
Right,
there.
and connect everything all together with wrap loops.
Well, it's great because you gave us some other examples of some linear pieces that you made, and these are great variations of really the same technique.
It is, and this one's primarily, one is done in silver, and then I have a shorter version in the brass. And you can tell I changed the shape of the brass pieces in between and
Yeah.
made just plain circles, which was kind of fun.
Oh, that was fun. Thank you so much, Mary.
Thank you.
Well, coming up next is Katie Hacker and this week's beading lesson.